Hi, I'm Akshara. And I'm Dhar. Welcome to The Long Take. This week we're discussing the new Emraan Hashmi and Yami Gautam movie. It's called Huck. It's directed by a guy called Supan Verma, and now it's on Netflix after like a theatrical run or whatever. Is it just me, or like does this feel like this movie, people behind the movie have like suspicious motives? So
I don't even know if they're suspicious. They're just like blatantly terrible people at this point.
yeah, this is like from the like I wish like it just said from the people who also gave you Dhurandhar at some level, because essentially that's what is happening here. It's like the same branch, like three, like two sides like of the same coin. Like one guy is giving you like that, and then the other side of the family is giving you this.
Yeah, sometimes together. But this one also combines, it also comes from the guy who gave you Sirf Ek Banda Kafi Hai,
Which I have
which
no knowledge
has
of
its,
at all.
which is basically the same thing, but with a male protagonist fighting a case against like a fake Asaram Bapu person.
Hmm.
Also religious
Hmm.
overtones in that movie, as you can see in this one as well. But yeah, this one is, I feel, more problematic than Dhurandhar in many ways.
Yeah, because it's like in a way like taking something that actually is a thing and then twisting it to like depict its own version of like reality or whatever.
Yeah, in Dhurandhar, they have like Madhavan's character says, the real enemies are among us, like inside India, and this movie is kind of saying the same thing.
Hmm.
Basically, it's creating proper characters, like well-defined characters, is so like low priority for this
Yeah.
movie. All it wants to do is just make like black and white
Yeah, it
villains,
just need mouthpieces
and just
for
manipulate.
its like themes, what communication or whatever, right? Like there's no one is actually your character. You're right. Like it's and it was so annoying because like you have so much time to develop these people. It's anyway you're focusing on max like what 3 people I think or less than that. So you have like all the time in the world to develop them, but then you decide to essentially turn them into like they're the writer's mouthpiece.
Yeah, like, and development. So the most shocking thing was that I think in the first 20 minutes, during like one of the film's many montage scenes, Imran Hashmi just turns into a straight up villain, like off screen.
Yeah.
Like, we don't see in one scene, he's like standing up for his wife and standing up for her against that Mr. Liaquat
Yeah.
guy, who's the rude neighbor,
Mm.
and then saying that, Dekho, maine apna zameen iske naam kar diya, to deal with her
Mm.
now. And you're like, oh, what a nice
Yeah.
guy. And then the next scene, he's like a full villain. When did that?
He just like goes off screen to Pakistan and comes back as a villain. Like I think you could tell who made this movie.
Even before that, when he starts ignoring her and saying, Kyun aaye ho milne and all that,
Hmm.
stop calling me over and over again, that's completely unmotivated. Like, there is no reason for him to suddenly be so standoffish and rude, because the movie doesn't imply that he has something else going on, right? That's like revealed to us as if it's some major like twist or something.
The most annoying thing about this movie, like other than the obviously the fabrication and the twisted reality and all of that, is as like a movie itself of like storytelling and narrative, is that a movie just like tells you things and it's like, oh, we are here now, instead of showing you examples of how we got there, right? So of this, what are you just talking about? Like they fell in love and whatever, they had a good marriage. Like the Yami Gautam is selling us through voiceover that, oh my god, our days were like this. I'm like, but show me a scene, right?
That's why, yeah, we don't believe
Yeah,
anything that
everything is
happens.
like
And
communicated like हाँ ऐसा हुआ. Then उसके बाद my dad lost all of his like the people who were coming to him. But I'm like, okay, like how did the kids get like हाँ, in one scene she's like the kids are like not feeding or like Abbas anymore. But I'm like, why can't you show me one scene where they were like not feeding it?
yeah, and the once Imran Hashmi turns into a villain, there is no like human quality to him. Like, it's not like he's a dude who is, we don't understand why he's behaving the way he's behaving. He's just doing it, as far as the movie is concerned, he's just doing it out of spite for his wife, right? And what makes it worse is that wife to hai he like the victim in this situation, but also the kids. So there is like no like, you have to hate him. If you don't hate him, then you are the bad person, right? Because he's also cruel to his own children. He's like, I want nothing to do with them.
Yeah, and he has the audacity on like several years later to show up at Eid once and be like, oh, इतना मुझे तड़पा हूँ मैं कि मुझे as a biggest loss is being a father. But I'm like, what? You decided not to pay for their well-being. How can you complain that you lost the
Out of, yeah,
privilege of being a father? You didn't want to be their
you
father.
decided it. You never met them. I mean, it's not like the movie tells us that he's desperate to meet them. He just hates the
Or he
wife,
was even
which would
around in the
also be
beginning, right?
in.
Because the movie keeps telling us like he is like always so busy, like I'm caring for the family, and the kids are
Yeah.
like popping like one year by after the other, whatever it feels like. So it's just like Shazia is taking care of them. So I'm like, why? When did you ever care for them? That you were like, oh my god, I lost the privilege of being a father. Also, you're now the father of a different child by the other woman. So why don't you be a father there?
So I mean, it's again like you said, right? Things just happen like after like huge gaps, and then we're meant to kind of just be like, okay, so this is what we're supposed to believe.
Plus,
But
that
because we,
character's voiceover tells us this is how everyone feels about this moment. Like you just arrive in this moment, like ek to this stupid ticker keeps coming and you keep moving years forward without actually everything. Like one scene will happen in 1 year.
oh my
And I'm like,
god,
how
yeah,
can
yeah.
one scene happen in 1 year? What happened the rest 364 days of the year?
Yeah, because the movie isn't interested in like proper storytelling. Like
Yeah,
it's
and
just
I
like,
was like, so my other eventually, like I think 2 hours in, or about like 1 hour 40 minutes in, I was like, this movie I think is too ambitious. If you really want to tell the story from 1967 to 1985, this needs to be a 10 episode miniseries, like a crown. It's like crown level season compressed into like 140 minutes.
which is like
Bonkers to me.
not. It's bonkers, but it's only bonkers because it's made in the way that it's
Exactly. Yeah.
made,
If you
right?
focus
It's
like
not.
on like 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 a jobs manner, like where you just pick like one year or one moment you focus on, or you jump from moment to moment that are relevant, then it would make sense, or it would possibly potentially work in some manner or something. But because you
Yeah, it's not like
want to show everything, you want to show every year, you want to show something. I'm just like, why are we not sticking anywhere? Why are we not like waiting anywhere? I don't feel like there's a random Hindu Muslim violence thing that's just thrown in for like good measure for 30 seconds. I'm like, ये कब हुआ? और ये क्यों हुआ?
yeah.
क्या हो रहा है? क्यों हो रहा है? कौन है involved? क्यों मार रहे हैं उनको? And then she like randomly decides to like, go back to, I'm like, what? So this thing just existed just so you could send the character back to a boss's house.
Yeah, it's all bullet point
Yeah.
storytelling. No, it's like you read like Wikipedia and you were
And
like,
then you give
ये
Wikipedia to
करना है.
ChatGPT, like summarize this, and then we will make the movie based on that. That's our script.
Yeah, I'm so like disappointed in how stuff like this is considered okay. Like, forget all the propaganda for a moment, which, I suppose people can be fooled by as they were with Dhurandhar, or at least not even fooled, like they can like look the other way in a weird sense. But like, this is just terrible movie making. It's like completely unengaging. These people don't feel real. You're hitting bullet points. Chalo, you have an agenda, whatever. We can discuss that separately, but like at least engage me so that I'm conflicted about your weird agenda, right? So that I'm like, acha, take a picture of the Chidi. They can obviously you're screwed in the head because of what you're saying. No, it's like terrible on all fronts. It's complete garbage. And this is okay. Like it attracts like A-list talent. People put this out in theaters, and Imran
Yeah,
Hashmi.
and that's the biggest thing to me. It's not like, this was dumped on Z5 or Hotstar or something, right? It's not discard. This went to theaters. Like, it went through
Yeah, and
multiple
it's
drafts.
like,
People like read it, like made it. Every day they showed up a set for like, I'm guessing, a 2 months. And they were like, we'll keep making no changes. These characters feel very real. And like, what are you doing? How do you not understand? Like, if you really have so little grasp on like the art of filmmaking for 2 months that you make this and you 2 months you edit this and you put it out and you celebrate it, then like there is no hope.
there is no hope. Also, like with stuff like this, there is also like this disheartening feeling of you have like ulterior
Yep.
motives, right? But then you're pretending to be more balanced than the propaganda out there. You're pretending like, oh no, but we aren't like them. We are presenting a balanced view of this. Are you crazy? Who are you kidding? Like, you are like a deeply, deeply crazy person to make a movie like this.
And
And
the
like
on top
some,
cherry on top of that is that you are also like a terrible filmmaker. Like it's one thing to
so
have
at this
like,
point, that
like no morals and no ethics, but at least then do the job properly. Like at least make good insidious propaganda if you're gonna make it.
like
Yeah.
Dhurandhar, like good insidious propaganda. So इस movie में तो मतलब the courtroom scenes are a joke, right? People just come up with like arguments on
Yeah.
the spot, and
जिसका मन करता है
the
वो
the
बात
whole
करता
thing where
है.
fully like Yami Gautam is delivering speeches in the middle of
Yeah.
the trial, and then Imran Hashmi
And
is
the
like,
judge just sits there just to like observe. I think the Supreme Court judge was literally there to just like, I think he had like 3 lines. Otherwise, he was just sitting there the entire time. I'm like, why are you sitting there?
no,
Your job is to conduct the court.
it's funny that there is this full like almost parody level moment in the movie where Imran Hashmi is like, "Do not withdraw the case," and it's almost like, are we in a cartoon right now? Like, is your team that stupid? Like, they can't like tell what an even stupider person is putting together as their
Yeah.
argument. The movie is never like ahead of you, you know, in any
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Which
And there is no like forget argument. What argument? Like the Supreme Court case has one opening argument from Imran Hashmi, one opening argument from Yami Gautam, and the case is done. I'm like, that's not how cases work. These are if you're going the one opening argument is in 84, one opening argument is in 85, and then what is delivered the next year. And I'm like, what is happening? The court case is 3 years long. Where are the other like court dates?
so again, like it's just bullet points, right? So the movie says that it's based on like a bunch of things, but like according to the movie, the fictional character of Shazia Bano won the case because the court decided that Muslim law and secular law cannot be separate. And then, तो इसमें इतना घुमा फिरा के क्यों बता रहे हो? You know, especially when your real agenda is that you want to say that BJP ने इतना अच्छा किया for Muslim women by
Yeah,
हटाविंग.
that is the agenda. Plus, like to throw in a nice mention of uniform civil code along the way.
Yeah. So that's the Dhurandhar kind of thing, right? Like the real
Yeah.
badlav is going to come when the BJP sarkar comes later. What I thought was like the most infuriating thing about this movie is that it wants to pretend that it cares about the minorities. Like, dekho ye sarkar and by proxy the movie itself is on your side.
Hmm.
It's like Article 370 was done for your own bhala,
Yeah.
you know, which another movie starring Yami Gautam. So this was also done for your bhala without acknowledging that you are painting the entire community as like uneducated jahil criminals, you know, which is what somebody predisposed to hating them will watch this movie and come out thinking, yes, I was
Yeah, yeah.
right,
It's
of
taking
course.
every stereotype that
So,
the audience is already holds of the
hmm,
community and just being like, yeah,
you
you
were
were
right.
right.
Look how
Like
they
nothing.
treat.
You have nothing to learn. You have nothing to learn. Everything is literally the country is and the world is as you think. All we're saying is that we are now fixing the
So
society.
it's like malicious because it takes one important idea, which is feminism, and says कि देखो अत्याचार हो रहा है, and then it
Mm.
takes that idea and uses it for its own agenda, right? It
Yeah, to turn that into a saffron savior movie.
exactly. And then Imran Hashmi's character is a villain. Why? The only reason he's a villain is because of his religion. There is nothing else motivating him to fight this besides his religion, right? We aren't told so. And the only reason he behaves in the way that he behaves is because of his quote unquote understanding or misunderstanding of his own religion, which the protagonist repeatedly, I don't know, refines the audience
Oh,
and
yeah.
Imran
Mm.
Hashmi as well, that you are kind of
Perfect.
not, and even like the whatever the high table of Muslim authority, John Wick style, that appears in one scene where basically तुमने सबको collectively बोल दिया कि ये सब villains हैं, है ना? In that one scene कि ये सब villains हैं. Not one person is like, but you're wrong, except the father who dies.
Which is essentially then like the trope from like the black movies in the America, right? Do you have like that one person who is like the magical solution for everything? He's the nice one, like who everyone goes to, like the old man for wisdom. Otherwise, everyone else is like
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah. So it's not as if the father is, who's a Maulvi, by the way. It's not as if the father is saying that, oh, but I've read it differently. He is supporting his daughter because she is his daughter.
What disappoints me further, like forget like we have, I think have accepted at this point that the audience either craves for this thing or they're just being fed this thing and they're happy to receive this thing. I have no idea what's happening anymore on that side. But whatever is happening, we have accepted that at some level that okay, fine, these movies are now, being made to us for a certain audience who are lapping it up, either lapping it up or just like ignoring them or doing a mixture of both, depending on what the movie is called and how successful it ends up being. Because we have like multiple of these every
Hmm.
year. But outside of
Hmm.
that, what infuriates me is that they get good reviews. Like there are
Yeah,
people who
shocking.
understand, like whose job is to understand the art of filmmaking, right? Like that's what movie criticism is. Film criticism is at what first level it is, you have to understand what good storytelling is. So these were people who have been
Hmm.
employed in the art of deciding what is good cinema, and they look at Dhurandhar and they look at Haq and they're like, oh yeah, good job.
We are recording this on the day that Anurag Kashyap has written a long, I don't know, review of Dhurandhar, basically saying that, I don't agree with the politics of it, but वो तीन चार scene निकाल दो तो it's a good movie, well made, etc. etc. But I'm like, that's what everybody. How do you like? It's like eating khana and saying that, but if you ignore the taste of it, it's good. You know, how does that make
Yeah, or
sense?
no,
That
if you ignore the 3-4 stones inside, it's good food. I think it should be on the Michelin guide.
yeah, like
But there's
that makes
stones
no
inside.
sense. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It's like you can't just take things out conveniently from the movie to be
Yeah,
like,
and
I
you
like
can't
it.
take things out of context, right? This movie is made in an era, in time and space. It's been made in this era for a reason.
एक तो this annoys me the most. People are like, just talk about the movie. No, you talk about the
I am talking about the movie. The movie was made in today's environment. Everything is political. Literally
yes.
everything is political.
There
Friends
is
is
a
political.
exactly. But how do you explain that to people who are like, how about just talk about the movie na? Chalo, we'll talk about the movie. We've already said it's
We talk about the
terrible. It's
movie, na? That's what,
huh.
like, yeah, and these are terrible movies as well. Like,
Yeah.
there are scenes we had discussed in Dhurandhar. There are action scenes which make no sense. They literally only happen because their movie is determined. Like, this character is the hero, everyone else is dumb.
Yeah. But then why should we ignore the world around us when we talk about
Yeah.
something that itself is that it exists only because of the world?
Every piece of art is a byproduct of the environment it lives in,
Yeah. And the whatever philosophy or lack thereof of the person
of the
or
person in, yeah, people involved in naturally, yeah.
and I think at this point, see, I've seen Sirf Ek Banda Kafi Hai, right? And I know you watched that movie, which somehow got good reviews, if I recall correctly. And people were like, wow, Manoj Bajpayee is so good, this, that, whatever. But that movie is like a dumb movie. And this one is equally stupid. So, what does that lead me to believe? That the people making it are like less intelligent than they need to be if they want, but clearly they're employed, they're doing well, you know.
Yeah, and
So
then what does it say of people
they,
who are then like reviewing these movies and be like, oh, actually, good job. Like, aren't they as stupid as the people who are making them then?
when I first started doing this, which is a decade ago now, I was so stupid and naive and bhola. I thought that I am unqualified because I don't have a film degree, and B, I don't have any actual tangible knowledge of filmmaking, right? So I thought कि मैं थोड़ी कर सकता हूँ ये, मेरे को आता ही नहीं है कुछ. And then I look around, he's like, कौन free है भाई? जाके देख लो. And over this last decade, I like it's obvious to me that you could have seen like one movie in your life and you are basically qualified to write about Huck, you know, and then that exists forever, you know. It's like
That is the critical assessment of a film in that. Yeah.
forever it'll
Like no
exist,
one's gonna sit down for
you know.
like 30 years from now and like retrospectively review every movie made in the BJP era.
But people will see the movies that did well and were made as propaganda,
Yeah.
and and
Those
how,
will get scrutinized. Yeah.
yeah, and Yami Gautam and Aditya Dhar will be at the forefront of whatever I don't know reckoning that happens, which will happen. You know, you can't escape it. That's just the cycle of things.
Yeah. It will probably happen like after they're dead or
No, it'll
something.
happen before they're
But
dead.
yeah, it
So
will happen.
they will have to face in basically 20 years, but who knows, they can do an about turn and be like completely liberal minded filmmakers by then, and this will be
Yeah. Then they'll make like 3 apology movies for like all the stuff they're making in these
yeah. The
decade.
sad part is that because something like Huck exists, there are 5 other movies that do not exist, you know, and 5 other movies that probably would have stood up to power or had like a more sensible outlook towards life. Those movies do not exist because Huck exists. And that is the sad part.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing nobody listens to our podcast. We can get away with anything.
All right, time to wrap this up. That's all for this episode of The Long Take. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Threads, and Instagram at The Long Take Pod. You can write to us at thelongtakepod@gmail.com. Please leave us a rating and a review wherever it's an episode, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening or not. Bye.